12 countries that may not survive the next 20 years. The time we are living in can hardly be called stable. Conversely, it's chaotic and uncertain. There are many economic and environmental struggles that the world is going through. It all makes us start pondering upon the end of the world scenario. But what if we say that for some countries, this scenario has already started? Smart is the New Sexy compiled a list of countries that may not survive by 2040. The Bahamas. For island nations like the Bahamas, a small change of even just 1.2 degrees Celsius would mean a catastrophic change to its coastal lines. If the ocean levels rise as much as 5 feet, the Bahamas would lose 80% of its landmass. Island nations like the Bahamas rely on tourism, so they need to implement drastic measures to save time while more long-term measures to stop global warming are implemented. Seawalls, for example, are one of the measures that could help in the meantime by stopping the increasingly strong and wild waves that keep crashing against places inhabited by the nation's population. Fiji. Rising sea levels have flooded the farmlands and the homes of thousands of Fijian people. This has forced most of the population to seek new homes in the mainland or in bigger islands like Australia. Within Fiji, the nation is trying their best to save time by relocating their citizens closer to the inland, an initiative that costs the government over $800,000 per 30 houses. Like with every other island nation, the lack of funding and the temporary measures make the future of this country look grim. Spain. The iconic European nation has been facing an economic crisis since 2008. Their debt to GDP ratio is dangerously close to 99%. As of January 2018, nearly 1/5 of Spanish citizens were unemployed. This economic trouble has created a generation of young Spaniards who feel hopeless in their home nation and who've instead decided to flock the country for greener pastures within the European Union. On top of the economic problems, Spain has 2 regions that have always wanted independence: Catalonia and the Basque region of the north. Belgium. Belgium is another country that may collapse due to its rising ethnic tension amidst the 2 majority, which is Flanders and Wallonia. The people of Wallonia are reported to be mostly French speakers who wish to become one with France, while the people of Flanders are Flemish and wish to be an independent nation away from their Francophone brothers and sisters. Iraq. The Middle Eastern nation is divided in a way that won't be easy to heal. 3 groups dominate the nation: the Kurds in the north, the Sunnis in the west, and the Shiites in the south. Experts believe that in order for Iraq to stand a chance at being unified, the Kurds would have to surrender their control of the north, which they don't want to do. So it's more likely that the nation may split into separate flags. The United Kingdom. It's not a secret that Scotland has always wanted their independence from the United Kingdom, although the latest referendum showed that the nation still couldn't make up its mind about whether they should be independent or a part of the Union. As of the year 2016, England is no longer a part of the European Union, and this has led the country into a more divided political and social atmosphere. Wales and Northern Ireland are also nations that have strong independence movements, and if any of these nations succeeds at gaining their independence, the United Kingdom would fall apart, and all of its members would simply exist independently. Libya. Just like Iraq, Libya is a nation that was the result of the colonial era. It's divided into 3 major regions, which has diverse groups of people whose collective consciousness isn't entirely loyal to one concept of Libya. The Maldives. This island nation is most likely to cease to exist very soon. The small tropical nation is located in the Indian Ocean, and it's been under the constant threat of rising ocean levels for quite some time now. The population of the Maldives is almost 350,000 people. In 2012, Maldives President Mohamed Nasheed looked into moving the population into the mainland of South Asia, and he even warned Australia that they should prepare for an oncoming wave of environmental refugees within the next 20 years. The United States. America is a nation of deeply divided social and political beliefs, so it's not a surprise that it's included in this list. The nation exists as a collection of states with wildly polarized partisan populations that are constantly making headlines in terms of ideological conflicts. If there's a country that's likely to become several smaller countries, it's the United States. As recently as 2012, 50 states have sent petitions with hundreds of thousands of signatures that want to break away from the Union. It's said that Alaska and Texas are the two states which are most likely to leave the Union soon. The Pacific Marshall Islands. The islands, located closest to Japan and Australia and aligned with the equator, have a population of over 50,000 people. Countries like the Marshall Islands are so small and so underdeveloped when compared to other nations facing collapse that they're often ignored during climate conferences around the world. Things look bleak for the islands. At a conference convened to draft the Paris Accord, an official from the Marshall Islands tried to make a case for the sinking nation, but bigger and more economically powerful countries ignored their pleas, which means that in 20 years, the landmass might disappear entirely if they can't be helped. The Solomon Islands. In 2016, the media reported that 6 of the Solomon Islands were washed away by rising sea levels, destroying entire villages never to be seen again. Over the past 2 decades, the Solomon Islands have seen their sea levels rise as much as 10 millimeters per year. Rising sea levels aren't just making shorelines disappear, they're also spoiling farmlands and crops, making food security another issue for the small island. China. This country counts with one of the strongest and most powerful economies in the world. Its military is nothing to joke about. But the non-stop destruction that's happening in China will not come from foreign threats, but due to their environmental damage. Cities like Beijing face the smog problem, in which it's so intense that the residents are often advised to stay indoors during the days when it hits the hardest. Also, around 250,000 people die due to smog every year. The Chinese government has predicted that the nation will run out of drinkable water by 2030 because half of China's rivers are so badly polluted that their water is unsuitable for human consumption, even after treatment. Do you agree with these predictions? Are there any other countries that can be included in this list? Please tell us about them in the comments. Share the video with your friends, and remember to click subscribe to be among the smart and the sexy.